There's a rule in Derry, not written, not spoken, not taught. But everyone who grows up there learns it anyway. If something feels wrong, you don't talk about it. You swallow it. You bury it. You pretend the screams were fireworks. You pretend the missing kid just ran away. You pretend the sewers don't breathe at night. But you know, everybody knows, because Derry is not like other towns. Derry remembers. Derry repeats. Derry feeds. And now, it's waking up again. They said, something bad's waking up? But the truth is far worse. It never slept. The sewers just got quiet. The hunger didn't. And the trailer didn't show everything. It only gave us glimpses, the kind that stick under your skin. A red balloon appearing where no child should be. A voice in the dark saying, I missed you. A basement filled with heat that shouldn't exist underground. And a scream that no one reports. Because in Derry, reporting doesn't help. But this time is different. Because someone who should not be here is. A man who saw darkness before Derry. A man who tasted fear in his own childhood room. A man who learned to listen to voices inside the silence. Dick Halloran. If you've ever seen The Shining, you remember him. The one man who recognized Danny's gift. The shine. But Derry doesn't call it the shine. Number. Here, it's something older, something deeper. Something that Pennywise understands. And that's what makes Dick dangerous. The clown doesn't just feed on fear, it feeds on awareness. On the ones who can see behind the mask. On the ones who feel the heat rising in the pipes. On the ones who hear the laughter where there should be silence. Dick isn't in Derry by accident. He was pulled here. By the same force that pulls the kids. By the same silence that keeps the town quiet. By the same heartbeat that pulses in the sewer tunnels. He felt it before he arrived. A pressure behind the eyes. A whisper in the skull. A memory that wasn't his. Not a memory. A warning. But the military? They don't see warnings. They see opportunity. They think Pennywise can be controlled. Weaponized. Used to scare the enemy so badly the Cold War never becomes hot. Imagine that. Trying to control something that has existed since before humans had words for fear. They don't know what they're playing with. But Dick does. Because Dick has seen this kind of darkness before. Not Pennywise exactly. But something similar. Something that knew pain and liked the taste. Something with a grin that was too wide. Something that whispered to him in the voice of someone he once trusted. His grandfather. And the connection hits him like a fist. Pennywise speaks the same way. Not out loud. Not through sound. Inside your mind. Inside your memories. Inside the pain you never talk about. That's why the kids fall so easily. Not because they're weak, because Pennywise knows them before they ever see it. And now Dick can feel it too. The heat. The laughter. The shifting in the pipes. The town breathing like something alive. Something hungry. But here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. The missing kids in the trailer? They were chosen long before they disappeared. They didn't stumble into danger. They didn't wander into the sewer. They didn't get lost. They were invited, called, pulled, drawn like moths to something warm in the dark. And the town let it happen. Because Derry always lets it happen. That's the cycle. That's the rule. That's the heartbeat. Every 27 years. The sewer heat rises. The shadows stretch. The laughter returns. And the town forgets on purpose. But Dick can't forget. He can't. Because the shine doesn't allow forgetting. It forces you to see. And Pennywise knows that. Which means, this time, Pennywise is hunting someone who can fight back. But here's the terrifying question. Is the shine strong enough to stand against something that was here before fear was a word? Or is Dick Halloran just the next course on the menu? If you're here right now, listening, do not miss the next part. We're about to unlock the forbidden link between The Shining and IT, the connection Stephen King hinted at, but never explained. And trust me, once you hear it, you'll never watch either story the same way again. Dick doesn't tell the others what he's feeling. Not because he's scared, but because there is no language for this. How do you explain to someone that the air tastes alive, that the shadows are breathing, that the heat in the sewer tunnels feels like something watching you back? How do you tell someone that fear has memory? You don't. You just keep walking. The town looks normal from the outside. Barbershop, school buses, rust on fences. People laughing too loudly at nothing. But Dick sees the layer underneath. He sees the flicker behind the friendly wave. He sees the way conversations stop when certain streets are mentioned. He sees the way parents don't cry when kids disappear. Dick doesn't tell the others what he's feeling. Not because he's scared, but because there is no language for this. How do you explain to someone that the air tastes alive? That the shadows are breathing? That the heat in the sewer tunnels feels like something watching you back? How do you tell someone that fear has memory? You don't. You just keep walking. The town looks normal from the outside. Barber shop, school buses, rust on fences. People laughing too loudly at nothing. But Dick sees the layer underneath. He sees the flicker behind the friendly wave. He sees the way conversations stop when certain streets are mentioned. He sees the way parents don't cry when kids disappear. Because they know crying doesn't work here. Crying doesn't bring them back. Crying doesn't stop it. Crying doesn't break the cycle. Crying just feeds it. There is a moment in every story where the truth stops being a mystery and becomes a wound. This is that moment. The disappearances start again. Slowly. Quietly. Like the town is exhaling something it kept hidden too long. A kid goes missing from the fairground. Another from outside the movie theater. Then one, a girl with red shoelaces, disappears in broad daylight. People see it happen. They see her look over her shoulder. They see her freeze. They see her pupils expand like she's seeing someone she knows. Someone she trusts. They see her walk toward the storm drain. Smiling. Like she's going home. But no one runs. No one shouts. No one moves. Because in Derry, everyone already knows. Interference is just another way of volunteering. One of the group breaks. Not because they're weak, but because they're human. Grief has weight. Fear has gravity. And hope? Hope is the heaviest thing to carry in Derry. She confronts Dick. She looks him in the eyes and she says, "You knew. You knew something was here. And you didn't stop it." He doesn't answer. Because she's right. He thought he could handle this alone. He thought he could understand it. Control it. Reason with it. But you cannot reason with hunger. You cannot negotiate with something that waits between heartbeats and grows in silence. He tried to protect them. But silence is also a kind of betrayal. The government unit pushes deeper into the tunnels now. They stop calling them sewers. They start calling them veins. Because the deeper they map, the more the tunnels form a pattern. A shape. A design that should not exist under any city. Curved like ribs. Narrow like throats. Chambers shaped like lungs. They are not tunnels. They are inside something, something alive. And it has woken up. The temperature spikes. The walls sweat. Pipes pulse. Concrete trembles like muscle. And then, the laughing starts again. Not loud, just close. Too close. Like it's right behind your ear. Laughing like it already knows how you die. The group runs. Because instinct is older than logic, and fear knows when something bigger has entered the room. But one of them, the one who has always been the bravest, turns back. Not to fight, to speak, because something in the darkness is calling her name, calling it correctly, pronouncing it the way her mother used to. Dick stands near the sewer grate behind the school. The heat hits him first, hot like breath, hot like something waiting. Then the voice follows, small, the way no one does anymore. She steps toward the breathing darkness, and she whispers, "Mom?" And the darkness answers, not in words, in a memory. Her mother's arms, her mother's warmth, her mother's voice saying, "It's okay, come home." And she believes it. Because grief makes us blind. She takes one step. Two. Dick screams her name. But the moment her fingers touch the darkness, the illusion drops. The warmth becomes heat. The arms become teeth. The voice becomes hunger. And she is gone. Not eaten. Taken. And the others realize. Pennywise does not steal bodies. It steals love. It steals the parts of you that you cannot live without. This is the real horror of Derry. Not that children die, but that the town learns to live with it. The posters fade, the memories soften, the pain becomes normal, and that is the scariest transformation of all. When tragedy becomes routine, when fear becomes tradition, when silence becomes survival. Dick stands in the center of the street. The breeze smells like iron and rain. He understands now. This town does not want saving. This town does not want escape. This town belongs to it, and it belongs to the town. A perfect circle. A wound that heals just enough to bleed again. Every 27 years, like breathing. And Dick whispers, not to the others, but to us, the listeners,